Assassin's Creed Valhalla is back with a new extension, the game's third and the most ambitious so far in franchise history. This one has you playing Odin, off to explore the mythical kingdom of Svartalfheim and hot on the trail of Baldr, your son who's been captured. Will Odin's rage be felt throughout the 9 kingdoms? We equipped ourselves with Viking axes and war tattoos and set out to find out and to bring you our review of this latest adventure. Your quest begins with the taking of your son as prisoner by a giant fire god known as Surtr. Surtr is holding Baldr prisoner in Svartalfheim, the kingdom of the dwarves, which he's invaded with his army of Muspels. You'll have to help the dwarves who've taken refuge underground in order to get the information you'll need to free your son. After Asgard and Jotunheim, the extension brings us to a new mythical land, Svartalfheim. And while this kingdom is definitely a war theater, that doesn't make it any less verdant and charming. Everywhere you look, you'll find yourself under the spell of its golden mountains, crystal mines, and massive dwarf statues. We were, however, a little disappointed by the lack of polish and the clipping we found in some of the game's zones. The new map is also chock full of interest points, and you'll never run out of things to do. Ubisoft has estimated that there are about 15 hours of exploration available with all of the extra content. When it comes to gameplay, Ubisoft really spared no expense. Odin can manipulate a variety of divine powers that turn out to be highly useful throughout your adventure. There are 5 different ones available, though you'll only be able to use 2 at a time, so it'll be up to you to figure out which are most useful depending on the situation and on your preferred playing style. To activate them, you'll first have to fill your Hugr gauge by defeating enemies and by gathering Hugr flowers. While this doesn't necessarily revolutionize the gameplay, it does bring a breath of fresh air to the game and gives you more flexibility and freedom as a player. But let's not forget about the main objective here. Odin is beside himself with rage after the kidnapping of his son. You'll need to find a way either to kill the giant god or to get a hold of an object that will allow you to negotiate Baldr's release. And by having you collect precious information, the story pushes you to help the colonies of dwarves, one after the next, to regain control of their own territories. It's pretty classic storytelling, though it does suffer occasionally from being a bit slow. We've also got a few new enemies in this installment. In addition to the Jotunars, the ice enemies, you'll have to face off against the Muspels, the fire enemies. These are particularly deadly when in a group and include in their ranks sorcerers capable of bringing them back to life. We noticed that the battles weren't particularly well balanced, especially against the various bosses. Some of them were overpowered and really gave us a rough time. Ubisoft took risks in this new expansion in order to offer a new playing experience. That risk pays off. Mostly. The adventure does take you to some magical, mythical new kingdoms, but we didn't always feel like we were playing the king of the gods, especially with the uneven levels of difficulty and the occasionally lackluster narration. But in spite of all of that, the extension does bring new and interesting gameplay and content. And for that, we're giving this game a 7.5 out of 10.
Talking, Eivor. Your blows shall have your head and present it to Lord Surtr. I shall have your head and present it to Lord Surtr.